Welcome back to the Delta, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning back in for another episode. Today, we're going to be going over the top teams, where they finish this season from 10 to 1, and then also my hot takes for the 2024 F1 season. It's going to be a great year. Starts this week, so we're going to get some major content out, and watch out for the live stream popping up. We're going to be on TikTok and YouTube and maybe even Twitch. So just tune in, everybody. Come check it out. Show your friends, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Going into our top 10 team rankings, following the rankings, I think you guys know who my 10 is. It is the Haas team. I mean, leadership sucks. They got a new team principal. Their drivers are pretty old. They have good knowledge and wisdom, but I just don't think their car is going to be able to produce what those drivers have the ability to do on the track. And so for that, I put them at my 10 spot. 9 is the Stake F1 team. I think the Stake F1 team has the availability of being the 6 or the 9. No in between. Because that car is either going to be great or it's going to be terrible, and they're going to be back of the grid having issues of reliability, or they're going to be up there producing at that 6th spot, winning races, and Valtteri Bottas is going to have a season similar to when he was in a good car last. 8 will be the Williams team. I think that they have the availability of being a better team than that. But unfortunately, I think that Logan Sargent's going to struggle again this year, and that it's going to be Alex Albon scoring all the points, trying to keep them in the fight. And then at some point, if Logan can't produce, they will replace him with another driver and see where they can go. But it's probably going to be a rookie, and it's probably going to be in bad circumstances, and that rookie's going to struggle probably the rest of the year. At number 7, we're going to be going with Alpine. I think Alpine's car is okay. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Their drivers have what it takes to produce. Like I said earlier in the rankings, I don't think Esteban Ocon is going to produce as much as people think. But Pierre is going to kind of carry that team to a top 7 finish. Number 6, I think that the RB19 parts that were implemented in the VCARB are going to benefit the Racing Bulls probably the most out of any team. They had a pretty lackluster performance last year, and so they're going to be moving into a better spot. Danny Rick's back on the grid with a whole season of preparation, the offseason, plus he was starting to actually produce, like in the Mexico GP. He had a really good race, scored some points. So I think that the Racing Bulls have the opportunity of being that top of the pack for the back half of the teams. At number 5, it will be the Aston Martin. I think the Aston Martin car is just not going to be able to produce. Lance, I mean, he either does great or terrible, so we're going to have to see. But I do know that obviously Aston Martin were dumping money into the F1 team, and so they could come out and produce, but where they stand right now after preseason testing, they're just not going to produce what we need for them to be a top 4 or 3 team. At number 4, we have the Mercedes Petronas F1 team. I think that Lewis Hamilton's going to have a great year. George Russell's going to have a year that's not going to be anything to scoff over, but I think that the issues with their car, having to rebuild it again, not being able to follow up on the build that they had last year, I think that's gonna hurt them a lot in the Constructors Championship. I do think they'll have a good car. They'll compete, but I don't think they'll be able to have consistent 1-2s or 2-3s or 3-4s out there. It'll be one driver is going to have a great race and the other one's going to have something, hard pit strategies. They're going to be trying to do. They did it a lot last year where they did these crazy stints where they tried to run the hards for a while and then they throw in softs or vice versa. And so I think that will be the downfall, is they're gonna have one driver that's gonna be on a steady race plan and one guy that they're gonna try to pull off these wins, and it's just gonna be hard against the Red Bulls, the Ferraris, the McLarens. At number 3, I have the Ferrari team. I think they have 2 great drivers, but I think that because of the position that they're in, where Carlos is leaving after the season and Charles is staying, I think that it's going to be hard. I think, like I said earlier, that Charles and Carlos will get a win this year, but I don't think it'll be enough to be, contenders. I don't think they're going to consistently have great years, great races. I think that they're going to have issues. They're going to get unlucky. I mean, they are. It's Ferrari. Sorry, Ferrari fans out there. Number 2 will be McLaren. I think Oscar Piastri is going to have a great year. And I think that Lando Norris is going to be obviously number 2 in the Drivers' Championship. So I think that the availability of them, their car, just the way it was producing last year, if they can finish podium, getting 2 guys on the podium every time, I mean, who's going to be able to compete with that other than Red Bull? And then number 1, obviously we have the Red Bull team with Max and Checo. I think Max is going to win the championship again, and Checo will produce enough to be viable, but I don't think it'll be enough to keep his seat. Even if he finishes 3 or 4 in the Drivers' Championship, I think Red Bull will still move on because they want to start producing the next Max Verstappen. And now we're going to go into my wild takes for the year. I have 6 of them, so we're going to go through them, talk about them. I want you guys to go down in the description and the caption below. Let me know what you guys think. All right, now we're going to move into my wild takes for the year. I have 6 of them. I want you guys to go down below in the comments and let me know what you guys think. What are your wild takes for the year? And also, how do you think this year is going to go in total? What do you guys think? What do you think driver-wise? Maybe give me your top 3 and your top 3 teams. Let me know what you guys think. I think that Liam Lawson will get a seat back in F1 this next year. Whether it comes mid-season and he replaces a driver, or if he moves into a seat after the 2024 season, I think Liam Lawson deserves a spot back in Formula One. The guy came in, was doing double duty, and was producing decent. And I think now that they've made some upgrades to this RB car, I think that there's a lot of benefit to bringing him back and maybe seeing what he can do in a car that's a little bit more stable. Fernando Alonso will take the Mercedes seat. I think that Aston Martin's performance this year is going to have Fernando wanting to leave, whether that's retirement or to a new team. I think the Mercedes seat would fit him. I think George and Fernando would be a good little pairing up. And I just think that it works. Carlos Sainz will then take the Aston Martin seat alongside Lance Stroll, and they will produce. I think next year they could have a big year, especially if Carlos and Lance team up there. I think they have the opportunity to build a better car, learn a little bit more, and for that final season of these regulations, produce maybe a top 3 team. I think that at the end of the 2024 or 2025 season, Haas will be bought out by Andretti Cadillac, and that they will start pushing to get in that way rather than getting approved to be an 11th team on the grid, just because obviously the Formula One isn't wanting to push that at the moment. So I think that will be the way that Andretti Cadillac gets into F1, is by buying Haas out. They're already kind of an American-based team, and I just don't think their owner is giving enough to the F1 build. And so I think that F1, if it was smart, would push Andretti Cadillac to buy Haas. And maybe that's what they were doing by rejecting them. Lando will win his first race, and I think he will get 2 or 3, and Oscar will get a race also. So I think that's how McLaren's going to fight Red Bull in the standings, is by getting a few race wins this year. And then Daniel Ricciardo will get a podium in the V-Carb with all the upgrades that they got from the RB19. Thank you, everybody, for watching this video. It means a lot from the deep downs of my heart. It means a lot. Trying to grow right now on YouTube and Instagram has been a struggle. It's been a grind. So we're going to start putting out more videos, try to get into the algorithm. So if you could go down below, leave your top 3 teams in the Constructors Championship this year, and then also any of the hot takes that you guys have. It means a lot. I'm serious, and I'm just grateful for everybody that already follows. Share it to your friends, your other F1 buddies, anybody that you think would enjoy this content. It means a lot. Much love.